Dear children, welcome back to Geography Chapter 1, Resources and Development, Part B. In Part A, you have already read something about resources and its development. You also came to know about the classification of the resources and land as one of the major resources. You have learnt the resource planning, and you also have come across the utility of land in one or the other way and the pattern being followed in India on the basis of physical and human factors. Now in Part B, we are going to read something about land degradation and conservation measures. So let's start. The human activities such as deforestation, overgrazing, mining and quarrying, these have contributed significantly to the degradation of land. Not only this, the sites which were utilized for mining, they left deep scars and traces of overburdening the land. In the recent years, industrial effluents as waste have become a major source of land and water pollution in many parts of the country. But this problem can be solved if we take certain measures. There are 6 measures suggested with which we can solve the problems of land degradation. And these measures are: number 1, afforestation and proper management of grazing; number 2, planting of shelter belts of plants; number 3, stabilization of sand dunes by growing thorny bushes; number 4, proper management of wastelands; number 5, control of mining activities; number 6, proper discharge and disposal of industrial effluents and wastes after treatment. And if we take care of these 6 suggestions, probably we can solve the problems of degradation of land further. Now let's see soil as a resource, how important it is. We all know soil is the most important renewable natural resource, and this is also the medium of plant growth and supports different types of living organisms on the earth. It took millions of years to form soil up to a few centimeters in depth. Various forces of nature such as change in temperature, actions of running water, wind and glaciers, activities of decomposers, etc. All these things contribute to the formation of soil. Parent rock or bedrock, climate, vegetation and other forms of life, and time are the important factors in the formation of soil. Now, when chemical and organic changes take place in the soil, they also play an important role in developing the quality of the soil. Soil also consists of organic, we call it humus, and inorganic materials. The soils are being classified, and on the basis of the factors responsible for soil formation, color, thickness, texture, age, chemical and physical properties, the soils in India are classified. Alluvial soil, the very first classification comes with alluvial. What is alluvial soil? The entire northern plains are made of alluvial soil. This soil is deposited by 3 important Himalayan river systems: the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. It is also found in Rajasthan, Gujarat and eastern coastal plains, particularly in the deltas of the Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Krishna and the Kaveri rivers. The alluvial soil consists of various proportions of sand, silt and clay. As we move inlands towards the river valleys, soil particles appear to be bigger in size, whereas in the upper side of the river valley, the soils are coarse. Based on age, alluvial soils can be classified as old alluvial, we call it Bangar. Bangar soil has a higher concentration of conker nodules than the Khadar. Now, new alluvial, we call it khadar. It has more fine particles and is more fertile than the bangar. So, alluvial soils are very fertile, and these soils contain an adequate proportion of potash, phosphoric acid and lime. And these three things are ideal for the growth of sugarcane, paddy, wheat and other cereal and pulse crops. Now, in the examination, when you come across a question that which soil is suitable and fertile for the growth of the cash crop like sugarcane, I think your answer would be alluvial. Now, let us see on the basis of the classification black soil. Black soil is, as the name suggests, is black in color, and it is also known as rugged soil. Climatic conditions along with the parent rock materials are the important factors for the formation of black soil. This kind of soil is ideal for growing cotton. Remember, dear children, the moment you come across cotton, you have to associate its production with black soil, and we call it as black cotton soil. This type of soil is typical of the Deccan Trap, the salt region spread over northwest Deccan Plateau and is made up of lava flows. This kind of soil covers the plateaus of Maharashtra, Saurashtra, Malwa, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, and also extends in the southeast direction along the Godavari and the Krishna valleys. The black soils basically are made up of extremely fine clay material and well known for their capacity to hold moisture. This is nutrients rich and contains calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash and lime. The soil is sticky when wet and difficult to work on unless tilled immediately after the first shower or during the pre-monsoon period. Now, let us see red and yellow soils. This type of soil develops on crystalline igneous rocks in areas of low rainfall in the eastern and southern parts of the Deccan Plateau. These soils develop a reddish color due to diffusion of iron in crystalline and metamorphic rocks. It looks yellow when it occurs in a hydrated form. This kind of soil is found in parts of Odisha, Chhattisgarh, southern parts of the middle Ganga plain and along the Piedmont zone of Western Ghats. The next quality of soil is known as laterite. What is laterite soil? This soil develops under tropical and subtropical climate with the alternate wet and dry season. And the soil is the result of intense leaching due to heavy rains. Laterite soils are acidic, remember, and in general they are deficient in plant nutrients. This type of soil is found mostly in southern states, Western Ghats regions of Maharashtra, Odisha, some part of West Bengal and northeast regions. The soil, which we call laterite, supports deciduous and evergreen forests, but humus poor. The soil is very useful for growing tea and coffee. Now, let us see arid soils. Arid soils range from red to brown in color. This kind of soil is generally sandy in texture and saline in nature. In some areas, the salt content is very high and common salt is obtained by evaporating the water. Arid soil also lacks humus and moisture. The lower horizons of the soil are occupied by conker because of the increasing calcium content downwards. The conker layer formations in the bottom horizons restrict the infiltration of water. So, arid soils range from red to brown. Let us see forest soils. These soils are found in the hilly and mountainous areas. The soil texture is very loamy and silty in valley sides and coarse grained in the upper slopes. In the snow-covered areas of Himalayas, these soils experience denudation and are acidic with low humus content. The soil is fertile on the river terraces and alluvial fans. So we have got different types of soils found in India. When you refer to the map, you will come to know more about it. So when you are going through the book, you will come across a map of India with the descriptions of the soil, and this will help you in preparing further about the classification of soils and their utilities in India. But soils which are there available in India do have the impact of erosion, and then there is always a need for its conservation. So the denudation of the soil covered the subsequent washing down, and we call it soil erosion. The soil erosion is caused due to human activities, like we have learnt earlier, deforestation or overgrazing, or we go on doing the construction on the land, or we go for mining. These are the activities that affect soil to a large extent. Also, there are certain natural forces that, like the wind, the glacier, the water, all these also have an impact on the erosion of soil in our own country. So what should we do to stop this erosion? This is very important for us to realize that the areas which have got affected with the soil erosion are required to be preserved, and the conservation of soil should be done. Sometimes the running water cuts through the clay soils and makes deep channels as gullies. Land becomes unfit for cultivation in that case, and is also known as bad land. So when water flows as a sheet over large areas down a slope, and the topsoil is washed away, we call it sheet erosion. Wind blows loose soil off flat or sloping down, we call it wind erosion. So different ways are there through which the soil erosion takes place. So what are the ways now that we need to think of conservation of soil? There are 4 important ways suggested. First, plowing along the contour lines, decelerate the flow of water down the slopes. This is called contour plowing. Second, terrace cultivation is suggested. That also restricts the erosion of the soil, and this type of agriculture practice is done in western and central Himalayas most of the time. Third, when a large field is divided into strips and strips of grass are left to grow between the crops, then also the soil erosion can be stopped. This breaks up the force of the wind, and this method is known as the strip cropping. And fourth, planting lines of trees to create shelter helps in the stabilization of sand dunes and in stabilizing the desert in western India. So rows of such trees are called shelter belts. So to sum up, we have to go for plowing, cultivation, cropping and planting in order to save the soil from being eroded. So let us now understand that soil is an important factor on the land without which the life cannot exist, and we should make efforts to preserve and conserve soil on the land of India. This is how we came to an end of chapter 1, and with this I am pretty sure you all are strengthened to prepare for your board examinations in the forthcoming year 2021, and also expect that you would be tuned with DNA Education for more such videos on YouTube.